Hi guys, Illustrial here of RuneZone.com. I'm here with probably one of my favourite J-mods of RuneScape. Do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Hi, I'm Mod Mark. I'm the lead designer of RuneScape.
So we have a few questions from our community here, so we're just going to ask you a few of those. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Okay, so the first question is, with recent updates, including RuneSpan and bonfires, do you have any plans to make skills such as agility also have this kind of AFKable, well not AFKable, but sort of, so you don't have to focus as much kind of aspect?
Well, we don't really call it AFKable. What we call it is more social. So a lot of skills are very click intensive, so it requires a high degree of thought, and it requires quite a high degree of interactivity as well. What I'd like to have is for players to have different options, so they can do things in a sort of more hardcore traditional way, or they can do things in a more social way. So there are lots of skills like agility, like you say, which are quite intense, and it's very difficult to chat at the same time. So yeah, I mean the answer is yes, I would like to add more skills, or more ways of training skills in a social way. That doesn't necessarily mean faster, it doesn't necessarily mean AFKable, but I want people to be able to chat and talk as well, because, you know, at its heart, RuneScape is a very social game. A lot of people in the early days played it almost like a glorified chat channel, you know, and they could talk to their friends at the same time as, you know, killing a few goblins. So I'd like to do that with more of the content.
Thank you. What's one of the hardest things you've ever had to do for Jagex, or in a day-to-day kind of environment? What's the hardest thing you have to kind of do?
I think the hardest thing we ever worked on was when we changed back in 2008, where we modified the way that players' trading work and the wilderness works. It's a really difficult thing for us to do, because I think we had very bold aims to do with, you know, ending gold farming and putting an end to, you know, all sorts of different things. But we tried to get the right kind of balance so that it wasn't affecting people's gameplay too much. You know, it didn't work as well as we'd hoped it would, and it changed the way that people looked at the game. You know, I'm personally really glad that we brought the wilderness back. I'm very glad that we brought free trade back. But it was, without doubt, the most difficult thing that I've ever done in the company, in terms of, like, content work anyway. Yeah, things like RuneFest are always very challenging, but I love talking to the players, so...
Probably the best part.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question is... what was the next question? Completely.
I don't know.
Mine's gone blank. Earlier last year, or earlier this year I think it was actually, we were told there might be some forum updates coming. Do you have any update on this?
Some...
Forum updates.
Yes. I don't know too much about that, I'll be honest with you. I focus on the game side of stuff, really. I'm not massively involved with what we do on the forums. I mean, I like to go on there and talk to the players, obviously, but you'd be better off talking, actually, to some of the other guys here. Mod Jane, for example, she's involved with the community team, so she'll be able to tell you more about forum updates, that kind of stuff. Sorry.
With the combat update that's coming very
yes.
soon, what can we expect in terms of how it will affect gameplay? Is it going to be a complete overhaul,
yes.
or is it...
It's complete. We started from scratch, really. We looked at the things that we really like about RuneScape, and specifically RuneScape Combat, and we looked at the things we really didn't like. There are a lot of things it's very difficult to interact with. You know, one of the things that I keep saying at the moment is about turning the skill into actually gameplay orientated choices rather than your speed of navigation between interfaces. Now, something like prayer flashing, for example, a lot of people would say that's a very skillful thing to do, but for me that's not really combat, you know, it's not vicious, it's not brutal, you know, it's not about doing lots of damage, it's just about timing how you click a button. And I'm not saying there isn't skill in that, but it's not really what I consider to be true combat gameplay. So that's an example of the kind of things that we're going to try and change. I mean, obviously, what I want the users to do is be people who can prayer flash and, you know, manage their interfaces well. That is a skill, and I'm very sure that if a player is capable of doing that, they're going to be capable of mastering the system that we've got in mind. And it is absolutely amazing. It's the biggest change that we've done ever, and I think actually it's probably bigger than when we shifted from Classic to RS2.
Do you have an estimated release date for that, or...?
I don't, but the beta access will be available very soon. We're expecting people to be engaged with the beta all over the summer, and really it depends how we do, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, it depends on the feedback we get from you guys, because, you know, we know the game very well, but we're not arrogant enough to think that we know everything. So it's really up to you guys. What you know, we're looking for your feedback. We want to see how you interact with the system, and we'll change things depending on what goes on. So I don't have a release date in mind because I'm not going to release it until it's absolutely awesome.
Finally, the 2.5k Sara brew drop, is it real once and for all?
2.5k Sara brew drop. Wait, are you asking me if there's ever a drop of 2,500 Sara brews?
Yeah, a lot of websites, there's a lot of rumours going around that this drop actually does exist, and a lot of people think it does, but some people think it doesn't. Just a definitive answer, does it exist?
I'm 99.9% sure that it does not exist.
Well, there you have it, the Sara brew drop does probably not exist. So that is it. We hope you've answered all your questions. We're here with Mod Mark of RuneScape. But I've been Illustrial. Thank you for watching. You can keep up today with all the MCM goings on at runezone.com/MCM. We'll see you later.
Bye.